Welcome to a very special Inside Games because we have the pleasure of talking to video game and movie star Rahul Kohli about his work on Saros. My name is Bruce Green. I'm joined by Lawrence as always, but Rahul, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Honestly, gentlemen, it's an honor. It's a pleasure. I've been a big fan of you guys for a while now, a big fan of your content. So it's amazing to finally get to talk to you guys about the game and everything. So yeah, awesome. Thank you.
We've also been friends for a very long time.
I love watching you navigate like PlayStation ads and stuff, and you go, yeah, Rahul's still a friend. Like you have to navigate the whole give praise, but it's still your mate. It's funny.
Yeah, this is a weird kind of closing of the loop because I remember we had met because you enjoyed what we did on Inside Gaming, and now here you are on the other end of things. How does it feel? Because you had mentioned a bit in text that it was kind of surreal, or on the IG post, but yeah, how are you feeling in this moment?
Well, I'm dating someone from Funhouse. I think that's probably the weirdest closing of a circle.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
but no, I mean, yeah, like I was fans of you guys, man. Like that was my first like gaming YouTube channel that it seems so like regular now, but like to watch gaming content. But like we're talking, before 2014 at least, like 2012, maybe 2013, whenever. But like, yeah, so that was my daily news. That was my thing, and then I happened to see you guys at the Comic-Con, and very organically we've all become very very close, but then I wasn't looking for it. I think I was just on YouTube yesterday, and your video popped up, and I was like, this is weird. And I know I've had games out before because we played Gears together. I know me and Bruce streamed Gears, and like we've done stuff, but this was a little different. Yeah, it does. It's a kind of a whirlwind right now. Yesterday I was watching Moist Critical. I was watching Charlie play, and it's very strange. Like it's me. It's like me being thrown around and manipulated and stuff. It's weird.
that's so cool because if the fans don't know, if people watching the video don't know, Rahul consumes internet content literally all the time. You've been a fan of internet content for a very, very long time, not just us. So it must be super cool to see yourself on every screen. Like right now there's like 55,000 people streaming Saros.
Yeah, so I've been, what I've been doing? I have been hopping into people's streams and
Great.
Like saying hi and gifting subs. And I'm not paid by PlayStation. I just was like, someone had 22 viewers and was playing through and was talking about Midnight Mass or something, and I was just like, sending them love and then gifting subs and just giving back a little bit. So I've been doing that all day. I just counted on my American Express how many Twitch payments just went through, but yeah, it's been awesome.
Let's get into the professional part of the interview, shall we?
Okay, cool. Hold on, wait, let me do this.
How did you first get involved with Saros?
They hit me up 2023, like really early in the year. It was like, I think I just got like, because my team are specific, way more like film and TV. And VO work, I don't have a voiceover manager or an agent. I just I look at whatever I'm offered. I don't really do work in that kind of field properly. So whenever a game comes through, my team are kind of like, they don't really have any kind of like, there's no pomp about it or like excitement. They're not like, it's PlayStation first party. They're just like, apparently a studio called Housemarque would like to have a meeting with you next week over Zoom. Are you available? They want to talk to you about a project. And me and Alana were like, yo, what the fuck? Housemarque? And obviously we loved Returnal and Resogun, and Resogun was one of my first PlayStation 4 games. So I've always been a fan of them. And then, so I was talking to Alana about it, and I was like, well, it's a yes. I'm gonna do it. I don't know what it is. I don't even know, like, is it what size of the role is or what they want from me, but it's a yes. So we took the meeting on a Monday, sat down on the Zoom with PlayStation and Housemarque, and did all the pleasantries. And then before they were about to do their pitch, play the slideshow with all the concept art and tell me what it was. And just as they were about to hit play, I stopped them and I was like, yo, I want you to know that it's a yes, and I want you to know it's a yes, not because of what I've seen or what you're offering, but of who you are and what you've done. So I'm in. Now show us what we're making. And then we had a little celebration, and then they showed me concept art, which I was already in, because that's how it kind of all came about. Apparently, when they were designing, getting in the early phases, I think one of the artists, concept artists, had used an image of me from Midnight Mass for their like early concept of Arjun. And at some point, Housemarque were like, well, if we're using his concept art, maybe he might be down for it. He's a gamer, and you know, he might be interested in doing it, and that's how that came about.
So it sounds like, I mean, was there an audition process, or was it just? I mean, I spoke with the people at Housemarque, and they were like, we had always imagined Rahul Kohli in this. So.
Bruce, I don't fucking audition anymore, mate. Yeah, I do. No. This was an offer. Yeah, no. Sometimes I audition, sometimes I don't. No, this was just They already wanted to just offer it out the gate.
Yeah, that's what they told me. They were like, because they showed me the concept art when I was in Finland, and they were like, we had always imagined Rahul Kohli as the star. And then we got lucky enough to get him. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. No, it's just one of those things. And I one of the first people I told, Brendy Aid, I think I told you guys like immediately. I'm terrible with that shit. But one of the first people I told was Flanagan. So I told Mike what had just happened, because it was a direct result of Midnight Mass, like as it was made to me. And you know, that was something that Mike took a risk on with me, hiring me. I was 10 years younger than he wanted someone to be for that role. Not Muslim, doesn't speak Arabic, but he believed in me. Not American, but he believed in me. And then obviously, and so we keep referring to Midnight Mass as like the Russo brothers. I did that, you know, Citadel with them and their movie. That was Midnight Mass too. Kojima was Midnight Mass. So it's like Housemarque, when Housemarque did it, I was like, the fuck it, this is the gift that keeps giving, this Midnight Mass. It really resonated with peers and people in our industries. So yeah.
Speaking of Midnight Mass, and I guess I've been curious about this for a long time. So I want to ask a question that's sort of general about the difference between camera performance and video game performance. And then it may be a more specific question about Saros, which is going to be a bit challenging because I don't really know anything about the narrative or the characters yet.
I'll keep it spoiler free.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. And I'm sure our audience would too. But for general performance, you know, the format of games is so much different in terms of the ratio of screen time. So you get like maybe a minute cutscene, and then the player goes off for 45 minutes to an hour playing the game, and then you're back as a character for another minute. Does the extreme density of time, does that lack of time change the way you play a role? Do you have to exaggerate certain things to leave a mark in the player's head, or is it largely the same?
I think it's largely the same on my side of things. I think for the writers and you know, directors and creative directors and everyone like that, I think how they manage the pacing and I think that's that type of structure and how to tell a story through a roguelike is, you know, on them. For us, or for me, it really had little to no impact. I just approached it to my own detriment, actually, and I've been candid about it. I know a lot of actors don't want to like admit vulnerability or admit that they may have got things wrong, because then people jump on that and whatever. But I do want to be vulnerable about it, and I think it's helpful to hear about the process. I genuinely made a mistake on Saros, which was, you know, I knew I was doing mocap and PCAP, and I knew that they were fans of my screen work. They weren't hiring me because of, you know, bolt gun. They were hiring me for what I did on screen. So I came into this project in a very grounded way, in basically treating it like we were doing the adaptation, the live action adaptation of Saros. And that was what we worked with, and everyone seemed super happy with it, and, you know, was doing my best kind of Last of Us type acting and really grounding it. Fortunately for me, and this was maybe a year later, I want to say, maybe even longer, I noticed that, like, because I was interested in actually, like, and Housemarque were asking me to play it physically and give them notes. Not just on my performance. They don't care. It was more about the game and the experience and how did this weapon feel and how does this feel and da, da, da. So I was doing that too. And it dawned on me that like, I was like, the performance everyone was super happy with and everything was great, but to me it didn't click. It wasn't harmonious. And I think I'm so fortunate that I do play video games and that and I participate in that, because I noticed a disconnect between what the gameplay is and what the sound design is going to be and what the enemies look like, and then this grounded character. And to me, it didn't fit. In my ears, it was at odds with each other. So I had a conversation with Greg, and I basically asked if I could go back and re-record it. And I was like, I want to sound like one of the weapons in the game. This is still a hit, like a 3D bullet, a third-person bullet hell shooter. I want it to have a bit more meat on him. I want him to be a bit more actiony. So they agreed, went back, then I tackled them again, redubbed cutscenes, did all of that, went through lines, and then when I played it again, it was like, okay, cool. Where there's a bit more synergy. I know I wanted Arjun to sound like, and the thing is, if you only play for the first couple of hours, I think people would probably walk away going, yeah, it's just, it's your generic hero guy, I'm this and I'm going to go here and I'm unstoppable. And that was the intention. And I think I had to really establish that baseline, because this is an onion, and the Returnal's like that too. And as you play and you drip fed stuff, you pull back layers of the onion. So I had to make sure that I gave you as clear a stereotype or an archetype as I could right out of the gate, so that there was something to peel back as we go. So I've noticed a few like previews and reviews are like, yeah, it's flat, whatever. It's just a guy, and I'm like, you haven't got past the first. That we're going somewhere. But yeah, so that in that respect, yeah, the genre for sure definitely changed my performance. I think I almost forgot slightly and got kind of carried away too much in the acting and forgot what we're here for, man. Like, you don't buy a house smart game. Not to say they don't do it, but you buy a house smart game because it's gameplay first. You're there because it's all about the gameplay. The star of Returnal isn't Jane Perry, and the star of Saros isn't me. It's House Smart's gameplay, and we just do our best to support that. And I didn't think my voice was supporting that. Is basically the point. So that was it. I wanted to make my performance gameplay first. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to play the first 3 hours, and without spoiling anything, Rahul, you're exactly correct. You are generic action guy, but to be honest with you, your performance betrayed the fact that there's something coming, and I liked that about your performance. This isn't a question. This is just me stroking you. I like that. I like that about your performance, because I could tell that the game is going somewhere. I just don't know where it's going. I played the first like 3 hours of it, and I was like, well, there's going to be something real bad coming down the pipe. I just don't know what it is. And I think you did a great job doing that.
If you're going to deconstruct something, you have to construct something that people have seen before in order to deconstruct. Exactly. Unforgiven's a great example. Like, in order to deconstruct the Western and the shooter, the gunslinger, you have to start with the familiar and then deconstruct. So that was the idea for Arjun anyway.
Because you had mentioned in the past wanting to play like an action lead role. I know that Speed is one of your favorite movies, and certainly is a breakout action lead role for Keanu Reeves. And I know you've been hoping for something similar like that. This isn't necessarily playing an alcoholic British spy or anything, but did this kind of scratch that itch? Do you feel like you've put up a good leading man performance, even though it does lead to more complications and stuff? Or do you still want that like 5 IQ blow everything up role?
No, I still want to do it in live action for sure. It's just because, like, when we think of cinema, like, it's all to do with our own relationship to it, right? Like, when I say the word cinema to someone or the word movie, immediately you draw upon your own favorites or how you lean to your genre. And I was always at odds with the fact that as much as I can be a film student and I can be intellectual about it, I don't think of cinema and immediately think Citizen Kane. When I think of cinema, I think of Rocky IV. I think of Speed. I think of popcorn and just having a thrill. And it's why like Fury Road is one of my favorite films of this century. And so I was always at odds with that because, I went to theatre school and everyone, and even amongst my own peers and stuff like that, when we talk about film, we're having these long discussions about Terrence Malick. I just want to talk about Speed, man. I just want to talk about, because I think it's just, to me, Speed and Tree of Life are both excel at the thing that they're doing and are on the same plane, right? So that was that wish fulfillment, but the thing with Saros was that like, I think you've got to do it. It's a weird one. You've almost got to do it to prove that you can do it, and that's a weird closed loop. And obviously, I don't walk around ripped. I'm a man of gluttony. I do what I want. I'm not really like, I don't sit around with a 3% body fat, so I don't help myself in that respect. But like, when the moment for me when I was like, oh, everything, I felt like, I was doing the thing that I wanted to do was when the state of play went up. I think it was the time we revealed the key art, which I think was at the end of the year, maybe. They hadn't shown that to me. Normally they show me everything, right? And I've heard soundtrack early and I've played it early. And when I saw the state of play and then they showed the key art for the poster and the box art, and it was the over the shoulder hero shot from the movie posters, I fucking lost it. And I was texting Gregory Loudon, our creative director, me. I was like, please tell me, is that the real one? Is that going to be the cover? Is that on the physical? And he was like, yeah, that's the one, man. So it did. I was like, that's it, and I don't want to bring, kind of other things into it necessarily, but like, you don't really see someone who looks like me on Western media front and center like that. And so that struck me too, right? And it was like, there was always that part of me that was like, you're never going to do that. You got to stick to playing like iZombie and playing the scientist to play this and play that. And so yeah, Arjun really kind of like, it ticked it, but it also emboldened me to go, well, now let's see if you can take that to live action on top of that.
All the way to James Cameron, man.
So your performance capture, because I've always been really curious about motion capture, performance capture for a video game. Obviously, you were doing it. There were props there. I've kind of seen videos, behind the scenes videos of you like picking up guns and things like that. But how often did you get to interact with your co-stars in performance capture? Because you have a fantastic cast of characters in this game in addition to Arjun.
Yeah, pretty much like when it's those pre-rendered cutscenes, that's us all together. We did a first batch, which was me and Shinori, who plays Nitya. We did a first batch like back in, it was one of the first things we did, which was also, it was done by Batij, who are based in Poland. And they did our like teaser trailer, that high fidelity kind of one. And then you'll see certain cutscenes as well in Saros that are like pre-rendered. I think that's the right expression, right? Pre-rendered. Yeah.
That'd be pre-rendered, yeah. If it's just like a video file that plays?
Yeah, pre-rendered, yeah.
Yeah. So those ones we did first. And that was just took me and Shinori. And then about a year later, we went to PlayStation up here in LA, where they do like, God of War and Uncharted and all that stuff. And we were in their space doing mocap as a cast. And that was all of the in-game engine cutscenes. And anything solo was just VO booth. I didn't solo mocap anything. But it was, that experience is incredible because it was obviously alien to me when I knew that we were going to be doing like mocap PCAP. It's not something I had done before. Name drop. Fortunately, friends with Troy Baker, was able to sit down with him and we had a really long phone call. And he just like mentored me, man, which was really sweet of him. So we had a long chat about that and the tech and the approach. And he said something to me at the time, which was really settling. He was like, this is like the most purest form of acting you're going to do. And it's pure imagination. And he was right, because like you get in there and you spend like an hour getting like, rigged up and stuff, calibrate and put the cameras on and draw the dots. So it starts quite like tech heavy and very like not creative. You're just being sort of like hooked up to a machine. And once that's done after the hour, it immediately shifts to just like you, the actors, and the director and your script, and you guys just talk it out, get it on its feet, kind of see how it goes, and settle on, okay, I like that, he's going to walk in from here, and that works as well because of the level design. You always have someone chiming in, making sure you're doing the right thing. But aside from that, you're not playing to a camera, you're not worried about audience. It's just about you and your co-stars and what the scene is. And I always use this example, like if they felt that me and another actor got a bit too heated, a bit too close, but they still love the performance, they'll just move us away, right? Because they can. And that level of purity and preserving the performance without having to worry about blocking and playing to a camera, it really was the purest form of acting. And it ends up being very relatable. Like I told a lot of my mates who do the Flanagan work and other actors, like it's the closest to like when you're kids and you're just doing like make believe with your siblings or your cousins, and it's something very close to like when we as actors are doing a rehearsal in a space, which is like rudimentary props, fake doors, okay, no costume, but it's all just about the text and what the character's going through, and that's. For me, that was my experience of mocap PCAP for Saros.
That's so cool. That fantastic insight, especially from T-Bakes. I call him Troy Baker. T-Bakes, because he put up an amazing performance from Indiana Jones. But that is so cool that you get to talk to him about that. And
dude, I got this game coming up. What do you how do I play? And in that respect, like Troy's always been like a big Troy. Again, he's sort of always been there. Like before I did Gears, I sat down with Troy and Nolan North at lunch during a convention in Canada. I was still up there doing iZombie. And they talked to me about video game acting and VO and stuff over lunch. And helped me a little bit, just like get my head around it. So I've been very fortunate with that level of support.
Well, it shows in your performance. Absolutely, thanks, Rahul. It's killer, yeah. It's
weird getting compliments from you lot. Honestly, I do. I do the press tour and I just go, yeah, thank you. But with you guys, I want to go, shut up, man.
It's funny you likened it to playing pretend as kids, because I don't know why, but earlier this morning I was reminded of something I heard from Nolan North. I think he was talking about Uncharted 3, but he basically described it as being kids and playing pretend in the backyard and stuff like that. But none of the tech gets in the way of your ability to like get into character and get in the moment or anything like that?
Nah, it really, and that camera, like as soon as they put it on you, right? Because it's like this rig that's attached to your helmet and then it's sitting right there, and you think to yourself like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Like it's the craziest obstruction in front of me. And honestly, it's like your nose. It takes a few minutes, but then like you completely see past it. It just does not play in your vision to the point where like you smash it against stuff all the time, like constantly bumping it because you're unaware that there's this rig in front of you. And you do feel a bit like vulnerable. Like I was a big boy when we did Saros, man. We were doing McFlurries every day. I didn't think once about that freaking suit, man. And then I was a big boy. And I remember standing there like that. And I was like, well, there's no way I can do this performance looking like I feel like, I look like, trying to think of a body to slice noodles or whatever. But like everything just disappears, man. You do feel a bit, and then it just all just vanishes. And then it's just the scene.
I mean, on the subject of getting into character, I know that you had mentioned previously that one of your emerging techniques is to make a playlist of tracks that kind of associate you with the character. So did you do that for Arjun? And if so, what are some of the songs you used?
I did, and I cheated. I was listening to the Returnal soundtrack.
I mean, I guess that's of any inspiration, that's probably the most dialed into creatively where you need to be, right?
Yeah, because I knew what we were doing. Like they told me, you know, when they were doing Saros, I think the expression they kept using was what was it? It was refinement, not reinvention. Something like that. They kept saying, right? We want to refine what we did. We're not just going to scrap it and go completely out the other way. We really think we can actually push Returnal further and sand off some edges, and you know that was their goal. And it's not dissimilar to like, you know, FromSoft or whatever. Like, you know, they have a mechanic that they love and want to keep refining and pushing and telling new stories or whatever. Obviously, Dark Souls is a series, but you know what I mean. So when for doing prep, for instance, like they gave me a list of movies, which I really appreciated, and like one of them was Event Horizon, which was the first time I saw that. Was for Saros. I ended up loving that film. I think that's so underrated. Sunshine was another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sunshine must be in there.
Yeah, so I was listening to some of that too. Yeah, so I was listening to the Sunshine soundtrack. I was listening to Alien, because that was on there too. But the big one for me was I played Returnal when it had first come out, and I pieced out at some point. I think it was just like whatever, maybe live for a show or something. And I just remember just not finishing it. And then once that was booked, it was like, all right, here we go, let's do this. And so I did finish Returnal before I'd done anything on Saros. And that soundtrack, is it Hyperion? The cathedral music, the organ player music of that boss, and then was it Don't Fear the Reaper? So I was listening to that stuff. So it was more self-referential than I usually would do, if that makes sense. It's usually like for Blind Manor, for instance, talking of Blind Manor, it was 80s pop. And it was like Wham and Cutting Crew and Hall & Oates and stuff. And whereas this was it was like if I was doing the next Lord of the Rings movie, I was just listening to the Lord of the Rings. It was a little bit. It was basically like that.
I'll steal a question from Lawrence. Lawrence wrote this question. What are you most excited for people to experience with Saros? Like, I'm sure have you played all the way through the game yet?
Not on the actual finished one. No. I'm nearly done. I've been really slow with the data, the notepads and the voice, because I never heard those. That's all new to me. I didn't hear the other actors do their voice memos and stuff like that. I hadn't seen the texts. Those were things that were new to me. So I've been really taking my time with that stuff.
Yeah, if you were to point people to Saros and say, you're going to really love this about the game, what is it?
Oh, gameplay.
Okay.
It's I think the thing you should do with Saros is boot it up and take on those first 3 robots that are given to you in the tutorial phase and feel that dual sense and that feeling of firing, and then how it feels for it to explode and see the particle effects. It does feel good. It just feels satisfying. And with games like this, if you can nail the basic mechanic and it make that feel good on the first time as it does on the 500th time, you're winning. And I think that's what Saros does, and that's what Returnal did. The same went for me for like Arkham. Like Arkham Asylum is one of my favorite games, and I remember the first time I parried, right, when I hit triangle, and then that feeling kept me going throughout the entire game, because it didn't matter where the narrative went. It didn't matter if it was the same, oh, here's another 8 enemies in another room, we're going to do this again. It just, that, and then carrying on with that fight always felt good. And I think that's Saros for me. Like, I still get hyped when I pull down on L2 and do that over, that power shot and see that explosion of particle effects. And I'm on my 35th hour right now, it says on there.
Would you say that Arjun is the angriest character you've played? Which is tough because Bolt Gun's right there, but it's almost like it's a different kind of anger. One's kind of comic booky and overblown, but this is too in its own way.
No, Malam Kaido is my Doom guy. That I was in physical pain when we recorded that, because I don't know how many lines I did, but it was well into the like hundreds. I think we did 400 lines. I don't know for Malam Kaido. It was crazy. And we did it in 4 hours in one session. Wow. And I didn't know that we was doing that. They didn't say, I knew it was a taunt button, but they didn't say every line is out of 10 all day. Like we want that, like that level of anger the whole way through. I honestly, dude, the next day, I thought I had whiplash from just like doing that and those muscles. I think Arjun stands apart. Is this a spoiler? No, I don't think it's a spoiler. I think he's the least likable character I've played. Yeah. I don't fuck with him. I wouldn't have a beer with Arjun.
Okay.
And I think you like Malam Kaido because Malam Kaido's still badass. Like he's still your hero. There's something about Arjun I don't like, and it's by design, obviously. But he's not my favorite. He's not someone I'd want to hang with.
That's a great tease because now I'm like, well, wait a minute. The first couple hours of me playing with Arjun, I was like, I kind of like this guy. Like it seems like he's pushing off the like possession of the eclipse in the game. But maybe not later.
It's more so like I just don't. I wouldn't make the choices he makes, and or maybe I did. I did actually make some of the stupid mistakes he made, but like I just don't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be friends with him. Yeah.
Do you enjoy playing those types of characters, ones that get you further and further away from who you are and the type of people you choose to associate with?
It's funny, the characters that are further away from me is like Ravi from My Zombie, which was the nice, like, I mean, you guys hang out with me.
Stop.
I'm fucking prickly. I'm prickly. I have it in me. I've definitely chilled out, but no, I mean, I've definitely got that duality in me. I know I do. Like, you know, Bruce, if I said to you, Foot Locker, does that a reference mean anything to you? Yeah, I definitely have that in me for sure. But I just like the variety. Like I think I would hate doing one thing over and over and over and over again. If I can have it my own way, I would love to alternate. You know, do some of the kind of the more charismatic, fun, comedic characters, you know, big positivity. And when that's done, let's jump straight to something darker, something meaner. And when that's done, let's go back. So I would, if I can, I like to alternate, but I don't really have that much control over my own destiny. But no, I just enjoy the variety of it. And I'm fortunate because I was always told, you know, having range and having variety is a luxury not many people in the industry are afforded. I think once you do something once, that's it. You're doing that, and people won't see you as other things. And I feel that is true, and I've been very fortunate that has not been the case for me at all. And I think Flanagan helped with that because I played Ravi and Zombie, and then the next role I book of a high profile was on screen anyway. Bars was technically next on Gears, but the next high profile like TV thing was Blind Manor, and that's like that was one unto the other. You know, I'm supposed to be the nicest dude in that horror show who tells funny puns and is cute and sweet. So there you can see I'm like, well, I'm clearly going to be doing this for the rest of my life. And then Midnight Mass was back to back with that, and that changed it. And then it was the fall of the House of Usher, and by then no one could really pigeonhole me. It was kind of like all over the place. So yeah, I've been very lucky.
I got one more. As you know, I think Bruce and I are both celebrating your conquest of all forms of media. It's been wonderful to watch. However, a few days ago on social media, you posted, and I quote, "Fanny hairs." What did you mean by this?
I meant it in the British way.
Yeah, the other one, the front fanny.
Yeah, front fanny hairs. You know what it was? It was just it's a reference only for the Brits we get. But did you guys ever watch Alan Partridge? It's like I don't think many Americans watch Steve Coogan's I'm Alan Partridge. He realizes
yeah, I've heard of it, but yeah, not watched it.
Yeah, he's kind of like that Ricky Gervais, David Brent character before Ricky Gervais did it. And I think and I had noticed I'd completely cleaned up my socials. Like I know I have, and I was like, anyone who knows me knows that I'm for PlayStation being like, thanks, pal. Everything's great around here. Absolutely no controversy, and I have absolutely no takes that would bring our launch into a problem. And there's a scene in Partridge where I think he realizes he can swear on camera or something, or he's allowed to use bad language, and he goes, "Oh, fanny hairs," or whatever it is. That's what just popped into my head.
Well, Rahul, I want to say thank you very much for number one making Saros, because you and the team did a fantastic job on this game. I'm going to go stream it again right now. I'm very excited to play more of it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to go right after this.
On Twitch?
On Twitch. And then, but I would encourage everybody. This is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So if you have a PS5, this is an absolute must get for the PlayStation 5.
Thank you. And guys, I love you both so much. You are the family I made in Los Angeles, and this new part of my life. And it means the world to me to be able to share this stuff with you guys. And you've been my biggest supporters and my rocks from iZombie days. So I just want to say I love you guys.
Oh, we love you. You know that.
Well, before we go, I want to plug this because you and Alana are going to be doing a subathon to benefit Doctors Without Borders, correct? Yeah. April 30th, starting at 12 p.m. Pacific. So if you like watching Saros on Twitch, you can show up and ask Rahul all the questions we didn't and tell him how great he is in Saros. So please look forward to that.
Saros.
That's on Alana's Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Alana Pierce.
Yeah. She got girlfriend privileges. So that's the only time I'm going to do that. And I was going to just sit with her and we're going to watch her finish the whole game. I can't wait.
Sounds like a fun moment. Well, Rahul, thank you very much. It's like I said before,
thank you.
It's really been a treasure and a privilege watching your career blossom. And we both can't wait to see what you do next. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Lawrence. Love you, man. Cheers.